Okay, before we get on to that, just for shits and giggles, I decided to pull this thing out of its little cardboard casing there, and decided to take a look at this thing, see what it looked like. You can see it looks like just like a big little metal aluminum can here, and you can see right there there's a small hole, and it's kind of leaking right there. So yeah, it shows that this capacitor is definitely blowing itself up, and it's still pretty wet and juicy in there with the bubbles. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but I know this is most likely dangerous. But I'm not gonna mess with this thing, so it's done. Okay, so I decided to I managed to break that bracket off, and I decided not to put the cover over this thing, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. But I put it down far enough for it's not gonna touch anything, and I probably could have put a sleeve, like a heat shrink tubing over this, but if not now, I might put some electric tape over it and coat it that way. But I decided to take my the cheap voltmeter I got here. That's got so many options on it, and I decided to do the a diode test, which is this little option right here with the arrow plus, and check to see if any of these were open or not, and check the other ones. There's some that give me a beep, but give me a number, which I'm assuming it's probably got to be good. This one actually gives me a complete beep. There's a solid beep, beep constantly, and that's got to be good. So I get the same response when I put this in there. So the only ones that don't give me is these two for some reason. This 33 microfarad at 1000 volts black capacitor and is 0.1 microfarad 400 volt capacitor. Apparently both of these are open, so I'm going to have to probably change these two out before I can go any further, I guess, on top of getting this done. So I guess the next part I'm going to have to replace these two before going anywhere, because I'm pretty sure they're going to hold a significant importance. For this board, I'm not too sure what's all good and what's not, since all the capacitors on this dang thing is all on the other side, and they're most likely soldered to the board. So, and what I'm going to have to do, what I'm thinking of doing anyway, I'm thinking of desoldering all these wire that are connected right up here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of these total, and there's a 6th one that's right here. This I don't have to worry about because I can easily unplug this, which is really nice. For those, I don't know sure why, they just have those soldered to the board, so I'm going to have to desolder those off. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do, I got two options. I can either desolder these things off, or cut the wire at a certain point here, and then put on connectors. So that way I can easily disconnect these wires off of this board without having to desolder them. I can just unplug them, just like what you do with this right here. So I'm thinking I'm going to get some small connectors, then cut these and strip them, then hook some connectors that are coated, of course, so that way they're not touching anything. Get those done, then I'll be able to take a look at this just in case if there's anything that's wrong with it on the other side. But for now, like I said, I'm going to keep it as the way it is, even though I'm not too sure what all is going to be ugly. But since I decided to test out the rest of the capacitors, and I need to find out if this thing really will work, if it's actually worth fixing. If there's some capacitors that got some charge to them that would work, I'll deal with it. But anything that's broken, like these two right here, I'm going to have to do something that's not going to function quite right. So I'm going to get these two here replaced, which I got one of these, which is a yellow cap, but the only problem is I'm not sure which side's positive, which side's negative. Because from some videos I found on YouTube, they showed that the yellow caps, which are basically these guys right here, don't tell you which side is positive and what side is freaking negative. Some say it doesn't really matter, but for others, for purists, it seems to matter, I guess. If you want to get the best frequency out of them, they work best one way than they do the other, and you have to have a graph to find out, see which end is what. And unfortunately, I don't have one of those, and I don't have the skill set to operate any of those. But because I'm pretty sure there might be like a book like this freaking thick trying to explain to you exactly how to do all this, and I would head back to school, but unfortunately school is way too expensive, and I don't think hardly anybody around in this area would teach it, so I would have to go a really long distance before I can get something like that. But anyway, so probably what I'll just do, like I said, I'll probably just look for just a regular electrolytic capacitor that's not yellow, and place it into this one here, and then try to find this. Not so sure if I can find one at 1000 volts, but I'm going to try anyway. So the next thing I'm going to do, get these two replaced, get them out of here, and then once we get the power cord in here, we'll give this thing a test fire and see what happens. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I got the last piece finally attached to the Wurlitzer 3210's amp/control power center here. So I got the new fuse holder installed. As I think I might have had that in a previous video. I just thought I'd mention it again. I have the power cord cut to the length that I need it, which is right there. My phone's going off. And I got, as you can see, I got these wires now soldered in. The black wire I got soldered into the fuse holder, where this is right here. Then I took the white wire and kind of fused it where the old one went onto the other side of this plug. So it goes onto, I believe it's this side right here. It goes onto this side of the plug. So this will be the negative. This is the positive side. So that's where that's going. We'll give this a shot. Plug it into the jukebox. Find out what happens. Hopefully nothing blows up. And I'm going to hope that these fuses right here are right. That they're going to be the right type of fuse. Because I don't know if they need to be a fast blown or slow blown. I think for those two they're slow blown. But if I need to switch into a fast blown, then I'll switch them out. We'll see what happens. Either this jukebox will fire up, or she'll burst up in smoke. One of the two. And of course I got the capacitor over here replaced, sitting in that corner. After the old one was pretty much shot anyway. But I kept its little paper housing here that holded it, so I still have all the information, which is not, my camera is not working with me today. Gonna work with me? No. Stupid camera wants to focus on other things. There we go. See? And I got the capacitor in here that's at the same equivalence, so just in case if I have to replace the other one that's underneath here, which hopefully I don't, I'll replace it with the same capacitor I have right here. But we'll find out in another video. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for the next installment of this. I now got the control power system reattached back into the jukebox, and also got the wires all plugged in. I got the mute plug back into place, including the two RCAs that are hooked in on the bottom here. Then we got the 3 plugs for the speaker, the single speaker, then plus the 2 tweeters, I believe. Got the junction switch plugged in, and the power lights. The lights are not going to do anything because there's no bulbs in here anyway, so there's just no point in that. I do not know if I got this switch set correctly or not, so I'm just going to keep this in the off position, and hopefully when I turn on the power strip right here, that it will not turn on. If it does turn on, then I got the switch on backwards. I'll have to probably take the words and probably maybe switch them around or something. I don't know. We're going to give this a shot and see what happens here. Either this thing will move or won't do diddly squat. and just go poof, as they would say, explode. Okay. So on to the first test here. See what happens when I turn on the power strip. Here we go. And the switch is powered on, and look at that. There is a light bulb that's still in there. And the jukebox is sitting there. So that's a good sign. But I don't know if there's anything engaged right now at this point. So let's check that power switch. Okay, so that means I got the power switch messed up. I don't have it hooked up right. I had to switch one of my wires around. But that's no big deal. But at least nothing blew up. Hooray! Alright. Well, the next question is, what will it all do when I actually do have it powered on? That's the question. Okay, so on to the next test. Even though this is probably going to be a risk in itself. Which is, give this a whirl. Let's pop a pin here and see what happens. Hopefully something doesn't go wrong. I hope. And we got nothing. Okay, so it might be because one of the relays is gone, even though I put a temporary relay in there. I don't think it's enough to do much of anything. I think this thing was, I think I put it in there 12 or 24, one of the two. I think they're supposed to be all 12s, I think. No, let's see, 24, 24, 24. That first one I put in there is a 12. So, relay number 1 might be the one relay that's not going to function for me at all. It's not going to do anything for me at all. But we can try tripling it manually, even though I probably won't like it. Let's see if we can try at least maybe getting to do something. Alright, here comes the risk taker. And that is the doornail. So at least we got it to power up, but other than that, nothing. I'll reset that pin back. Shut the thing off. And I don't see any smoking going on inside. So, I know it's quite dark in here. Let's see if we can light things up. Let's see. I don't sense anything at all. Yeah, cause the first thing that would pop on would be this motor right here. And it's not doing anything at all, so I don't know if it's due to this switch or what's going on. I got the switch engaged right here. Even though I think it's supposed to click like this. Let's see if that does anything. Let's find out. Nope, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Hitting the cancel switch and nothing. Alright, no smoke coming from the motor. Nothing at all in there. So, I don't see any smoke trying to come out of the center here. So, and nothing seems to be blowing up since the fuse is still intact. There's no blowage of it, so there's no shorts. But we might have something else that's dead in there. So, Well, duh, people. What the heck are we supposed to do here? I don't think we can pop any of these relays at all. Trip any of them manually. To see what all would happen here. Because nothing seems to be working at all. Try turning this motor manually over here. See if I can get it to maybe do something here. I don't think so. Because she seems that she doesn't want to do a thing. Not even the motor is ticking. So, no scan, no switch, no nothing. There's a power connector there, absolutely nothing. So, there's the door now. Oh, well. Let's close that up. Open it up, so. I guess I have to get back to you in a second and see what happens here.